Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, 7 million theorists strong. And a lot of that is thanks to this franchise. More often than not, when I talk to people about their favorite episodes of this series, it's these. Young, old, it doesn't matter, the FNAF series was their first introduction. So I always feel a lot of pressure on these videos to deliver in a big way. You know, looking back, they're some of my personal favorites. Not only am I proud of the final product, but I'm proud of what they represent, as the FNAF series has been a true team effort, branching out across every person who has ever touched this channel, spanning every editor who's ever worked on an episode of Game Theory, getting you loyal theorists involved with pitching theories, and covering every style of theory that I personally write, from more IRL episodes to more lore-based ones. We've used everything from books to spin-off titles, real-world math and science to source code analysis, teaser images, trailer hints, and even US trademark data. Looking across this series, it's incredible the breadth that we've gone to. And to think, I almost never covered this series to begin with. It was going to be Slender, but then you guys, you loyal theorists, encouraged me to look into it, all based on a simple Twitter poll. You guys made it happen, and the rest is history. Funny how life goes sometimes. Anyway, like I said, I feel a lot of responsibility with these episodes, but I think today is my favorite of the whole series, because now we finally have all the pieces necessary to tell a coherent plot. It's not just some corpse kids and silent puppets and mauve murderers who don't say anything. We have personalities now, actual character, and most importantly of all, motivation. Motivations for why a serial killer would create a place like Sister Location. And believe it or not, the answer is actually quite sad. So the question of the day is, can a game make you feel sympathy for a child murderer? Because once you have the complete story, you might just see Purple Guy in a whole new light. One line across this entire franchise answers everything. I will put you back together. But before we get to all of that, let's back up a bit. Last time we established that William Afton, Purple Guy himself, is who you play as in Sister Location, and the one who eventually gets himself scooped. We also established that he once had a daughter who got herself killed at the hands, or should I say at the metal claw grip, of Baby. But there is so much more hidden in this game than that. By playing through the game and unlocking Sister Location's secret private room, players get treated to a shocking Easter egg. By typing the date 1983 into the keypad besides the monitors, the static blazes to life, revealing blurry footage of the FNAF 4 house, the plush trap hallway, Foxy's closet, and creepiest of all, the crying child's bed. We also get a clue as to how this is being done. Sitting there on the desk is none other than our good old friend, Psychic Friend Fredbear. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic Friend Fredbear. A little less psychic this time, and a little more plush, cradling what appears to be a remote control. Now, many have said that this is a walkie-talkie, but it is, in fact, a camera control. Notice the buttons on top. Those are switchers, allowing you to switch between the different cameras you have placed in the environment. The wheel on the bottom presumably allows you to turn the cameras or potentially focus them. The Fredbears from FNAF 4 are just that. Fredbear plushes equipped with hidden security cameras, something mothers are using all the time these days to monitor their children, and also getting themselves hacked while doing it. See also the Watch Dogs episode. Creepy stuff. But that begs the question, why would anyone have remote monitoring of a child's bedroom programmed to run into a secret room in an underground animatronic storage facility? And also, why that house? Well, it's important to note that it's not just any house. It's a house that's connected to Circus Baby's Rentals. You heard that right. Sister Location is under the FNAF 4 house. During the Freddy Breaker Room Challenge, we're presented with a map of the facility. We see the entrance elevator, main hub area, and the various holding rooms branching out all around it. But what we also see, more faintly, are 3 other areas. Maps that should look pretty familiar to fans of this series. The plush trap hallway, the path to Fredbear's, and the crying child's bedroom from FNAF 4. No joke. Just like the vent system maps from previous games, the faded diagram would imply that all of this is located on a different level than Sister Location, i.e. above it. And as we can see, not just above it, but connected to it. In fact, while we were too busy freaking out over the ever-nearing Funtime Freddy, most gamers overlooked that as a part of that minigame, we were responsible for returning power to those areas of the map. They were even labeled Observation 1 and Observation 2. Observation? Observing what? It just gets creepier and creepier. Now, before you go saying that an underground facility facility attached to a house is far-fetched, it's actually something supported by the book in details I guarantee everyone overlooked while reading it. Page 118, our main character Charlie is outside her childhood home, which is also home to Henry, co-founder of Freddy's. While exploring her father's animatronic workshop, we get the following quote. She knelt again and put her hand on the ground, fishing around until she found a small screw in the bare dirt. She palmed it, then looked closer. There were small holes in the ground, exposed when she moved the loose dirt. Charlie ran her fingers over them, thoughtful, end quote. Tiny holes hidden under the dirt of an animatronic workshop, huh? It's an oddly specific detail that never gets mentioned again and never goes anywhere, but is one of those things that gets the theorist mind to tickle in. Because when I hear of mysterious holes in the ground in someone's private workshop, I think trapdoor. Hidden trapdoor. Or, more accurately, secret entrances. Could this be a hint as to a secret entrance in Henry's animatronic workshop into Sister Location? In fact, we can prove using more details from the book that it is still being used by Afton. Earlier in that same chapter, Scott makes sure to drop a few more hints that seemingly never go anywhere, but we all know Scott better than that, right? And now that we have Sister Location to reference, these little details start to make a whole lot more sense. Quote, the benches were there where her father had assembled and tweaked his inventions, but the materials, the blueprints, and the half-finished robots that were once crammed onto every surface had disappeared. Where are they? End quote. So we have missing blueprints and partially finished bots that have just disappeared, but it continues. Quote, Charlie, John said from across the workshop, he was in the dark corner. If the skeleton had been there, it could have reached out to touch him, but it's not there. Notice the italics here. This isn't something that we're doing for effect in the video, this is actually straight from the book. Time and time again, Scott and the team working on this book are emphasizing these lines, as though they're pointing to a greater mystery here, that someone has stolen these materials and are using them for their own devices, that they're hidden somewhere in this world. But it's a mystery that never gets solved within the pages of the book. But perhaps most importantly of all is a paragraph a few sentences later that pulls all these clues together and may finally give us an answer as to what is in the box. You know, the box. Quote, John was standing beside her father's toolbox, and he stepped away as she came over, giving her space. Charlie knelt down before it. It looked as if it had just been polished. It was made of dark, stained wood. Glossy. All the tools were polished and clean. They looked as though they had just been used that morning, wiped down and put away meticulously, like someone still cared for them. End quote. Stolen blueprints, missing robots, pristine tools despite supposedly going unused for 10 years, hints at a trap door and William Afton lingering around the town in disguise. Quite simply, the pieces here add up. But again, that's hints that we can glean from the book. The bigger question here is why would Afton be spying on the FNAF 4 house in the games? Well, because it's his. As we established last episode, you play as Purple Guy, and each night you go back to your retro-themed house. At first, these cutscenes seem like they should just be absurd breaks from the spoopy action of the main game.
Clara, the baby isn't mine!
But look closer and you notice the details of the room, in particular, a very ugly lamp. A very ugly, very familiar lamp. One that we saw in, you guessed it, FNAF 4. In other words, this is Afton's house, and from his underground private room, he's observing his kids. Crying child, the older brother, and the girl who eventually becomes baby. As I suspected in my prediction video for this game, this truly is a sister location. A sister's location. And from there, all the parts start to fit together. So let's retell this story from the beginning now that we have all the pieces. Remember what will happen if he catches you. It's a line we hear repeated over and over again throughout FNAF 4, and now we know why. Crying Child has seen Golden Bonnie abduct children multiple times in the past. This moment in the back room that we all debated about whether or not it was a murder is in fact a child kidnapping. Silver Eyes proves it as it shows that Purple Guy kills by trapping the kids in spring-lock suits. Quote, Carlton was wedged inside the heavy, barrel-shaped torso of a mascot costume, the headless top half of some kind of animal. His arms were trapped inside the torso section, pinned to his sides in an unnatural position. He could feel pieces of metal that pressed against his back and poked him. Dave said to Carlton, if you trigger those spring locks, two things will happen. First, all the locks will snap right into you, making deep cuts all over your body. And a split second later, all the animatronic parts they've been holding back will instantly be driven into your body. You'll die, but it will be slow. Having witnessed a scene similar to this, the boy is justifiably terrified, trying to avoid the pizzeria at all costs. But it's kinda hard when your father is one of the owners. Meanwhile, William Afton knows that he's been found out, hence the observation monitors and security Fredbears. He needs to be sure of his son's movements, even when he's at work, be it above ground or below. I mean, the guy may be a killer, but it's not like he could just kill his son, even if he was the witness to a gruesome murder at the restaurant. But Afton's problem gets solved prematurely with the fatal chomp of 83, a son William loved killed by the very animatronics he also loved, leading us to one fateful promise. I will put you back together. We've analyzed this line a lot in past theories because it's not only the final lines of FNAF 4 and FNAF World, thereby making it super important to this franchise, but because it's also presented to us in a different color than Fredbear's yellow. Someone else is talking here. And now we can finally pinpoint who said it, and more importantly, why. It was Afton. I will put you back together. A promise to fix his son, a broken son, in the only way that he knows how, animatronics. Enter Sister Location and the Funtime animatronics, not built for entertainment or for being worn, but built to help Purple Guy save his son. Built for capture. Although no one has yet found how to unlock them in the game, if you dig through the Sister Location files, you find a set of blueprints for the various animatronics, outlining their size and special features. Not only are they enormous, topping 7 feet in some instances, certainly bigger than a small child, but they're also equipped with things like 360-degree tracking, parental voice mimicking, and storage tanks. Look closer at the wireframes and you see that the storage tank isn't quite empty. Yeah, that's a child in there, curled up, hidden in Fredbear's stomach, captured alive, ready to be experimented on. Because Purple Guy is no longer killing to satisfy himself, he's doing it to recover his son, to figure out the secret of fusing souls into animatronics. You heard me, Afton wants to unlock the mystery of giving gifts, giving life. And if that seems like a stretch, just look at the number of sentient, independent, and fully aware robots in Sister Location. You not only have the core set, but there's also the baby babies and the mini Renas. Tens of sentient animatronics moving against their programming. And unlike past games where we received explanations like anti-criminal systems, dying guys in murder suits, or the products of a nightmare, here they just kinda exist. Why? Well, Baby tells us over and over in the trailer for Sister Location.
Don't hold it against us. Don't hold it against us. Don't hold it against us. You don't know what we've been through.
Before the game's release, we had no idea, but now we do know what they've been through. Experiments and controlled shocks. Dozens, and I mean dozens of children captured as the Funtime animatronics executed on the programming that told them to collect. Also that Afton could learn the secret to reawakening lost souls. As we see in Silver Eyes, he knows it's possible as he's not shocked at all when the animatronics come to life at night. Quote, "They're home with me." Dave's voice was coarse, and the large mascot head slid forward and tilted as he spoke. Their happiest day. All they know is that you're here, trying to take away their happiest day. You are intruders, end quote. And as evidenced by the animatronics crawling throughout Sister Location, he succeeds in his goal. But in doing so, he pays the ultimate price, losing the second of his children, his daughter, when she ignores his warnings to stay away from the robots. A daughter whose soul goes on to possess Baby, as evidenced by the eye color shift from blue in the minigame to green in all the other times that we ever get to see Baby. Now flash forward to the beginning of Sister Location, a place where, as we're told in the trailer, memories sleep, anger is restless, and secrets don't keep. The children's spirits are mad and eager to get out, but how does a ragtag group of sentient robots escape? Even if they made it to the surface, giant endoskeletons roaming around would be like the coming of Terminator 2, and humans don't take kindly to that sort of thing. And so they've been forced to concoct a sneakier plan to escape. They put together their individual abilities Afton programmed into them, like Freddy's voice mimic and Bellora's misdirection tactics, to create a new entity, the collective consciousness known as Ennard, a tangle of wires and eyeballs that serves as their final hope. And we know it's all the animatronics together because it refers to itself as we.
There is nowhere to go when we look like this.
As the teaser said, there was a part of him in every body, after all. Throughout the 5 nights, Ennard uses those various skills and pretends in order to gain our trust, using the voice mimic to sound like Baby and be sympathetic, adopting the voice of the little green-eyed girl to make us compelled to move forward and save her. But it's all a trick, and by night 5, they've cleared out all the evidence, killing the other technicians so that no one can speak of the haunted animatronics. But note that those guys haven't been scooped. They've saved that honor specifically for you, the purple guy. The reason they're stuck there in the first place. Using Baby's voice, they push you into the scooping room, remove your skeleton, and inhabit your body. And as we see in the final scene, their escape is successful. The purple guy, the serial killer father trying to put his son back together, is killed by the exact monsters he first created. But not in an unhappy way. He achieved what he wanted, being reunited with his children. Page 411 of Silver Eyes. Quote, "The voice of the rabbit was smooth and rich, almost musical. Dave cocked his head to the side so that only one of his bulbous eyes could peer through the sockets. We both wanted to love," he said in those melodious tones. "Your father loved, and now I have loved." End quote. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching. Welcome back to the
Super Amazing End Card Tournament!
Where last time I asked you whether you thought Sister Location was scary good or frighteningly bad. Survey said 97,000 votes for Sister Location and 30,000 against. So it looks like y'all felt that Scott got his groove back with this one. The follow-up question for today, which animatronic is your favorite? Maybe it's the scariest, maybe it's the one you most identify with, maybe it's the one you're most excited about yiffing. Hey, no judgment here. You yell and sniff all you want. Whatever your reasoning, just click on one. At this point, there's like 1,000, so let's just narrow it down to the essentials and you can include all versions of that character. So here we go. Your options are Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy/Mangle, Golden Freddy/Fredbear, Springtrap, and Baby. Apologies to all you Balloon Boy and Ballora fans out there. Seriously though, are you out there? Seems like those two in particular just don't fit in anywhere. Anyway, click on one of the options to cast your vote, and once you're done, you have 2 options. Number 1, go and check out the FNAF playlist on the channel. Binge watch that sucker, because honestly, it's a lot of fun to look back at those old theories and see just how far we've all evolved in our thinking about this game. Each episode is like a little time capsule, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember when there was only 4 animatronics and everyone was like, whoa, Golden Freddy is blowing my mind right now. Or option 2, if you're looking for a break from FNAF, might I recommend to you Salad Fingers over on the Film Theory channel. Seriously, if you like FNAF, then you will love my Salad Finger theories. It's creepy, it's mysterious, and it is ripe for theorizing. And it's brand new with part 2 of that theory coming out today, assuming you're one of the people watching this theory the day it comes out. In fact, you know what? Here's a link to go directly there. It's perfect viewing for Halloween weekend. Now, if you excuse me, I've got some Metroid and Mario theories in the works that have been on the back burner because of FNAF. So get ready for those. Enough jump scares for one Halloween. It is time we move on to some new theories. See ya next week.